So I asked my cousin Heath to do a little video. A lot of y'all know Heath. He's in a ton of my videos. I kind of was curious to see his thoughts on adoption, and not only just his being my cousin, but kind of like an outsider male perspective of adoption, their thoughts on birth moms. Does that make them more attractive, less attractive, knowing that they've placed a child for adoption? Just kind of like a man's take on it he hasn't adopted, and Sawyer's probably the only person he knows that's adopted. So I asked him to do a video. And here we go. Here's his thoughts. See ya. Thanks, Heath.
Hello. For those of you that don't know me, I am Heath. I'm Candace's cousin, and we are best buds. And she asked me to make a video for National Adoption Awareness Month. So here's a few short things about my point of view of adoption. Before Brett and Candace had Sawyer, I knew almost absolutely nothing about adoption. I knew that Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie adopted a bunch of kids. One of my friends in high school gave up his baby for adoption, and I had a good friend adopt a 2-year-old from Russia. Other than that, I knew nothing about adoption. I watched Teen Mom maybe like one time or something, and I was just oblivious and totally naive to the adoption process. But after Sawyer came into this world, I learned a ton of stuff about adoption and knew lots of stuff about open adoption. I had no idea that birth parents could actually keep in touch with who they chose to raise their child, and that they could be updated on their life and all that. I had no idea about that. I thought, the second you put your baby up for adoption, that was it. It's like, oh, see you later. I didn't know there was such thing as open adoption. I learned a lot about the process of adoption, how you have to, in some cases, make a profile, meet with birth parents, and, go through that process, get chosen. It's basically like, a birth parent can shop for the perfect parents that they want to raise their child, which is amazing to me, and I think that's an amazing privilege. I have a great respect for birth moms. Birth moms are awesome. I got to meet Lauren, and she is amazing. And it blows my mind what birth parents and birth moms have to go through. The choices they have to make, the decisions they have to make, and I don't know how they do it. I respect you all so much, and I have a really different outlook on birth parents and birth moms. You guys are the best people in the world. I got to go with Candace and Sawyer to meet the new birth mom that had just picked Candace, and that was a really cool experience for me. I got to see the questions that they, had for each other. I mean, not only did Candace have questions, but, the other girl, she had questions for Candace. She wanted to know certain things. And that was a really cool experience, and I got to actually ask a few questions. It was really, really cool, and she actually ended up picking Candace, which is awesome. I'm so glad I got to be part of that experience in their lives. I get to hang out with Sawyer a lot because me and Candace are best friends, and every time she is in town, I drive to go see her, and Sawyer is always there. And let me tell you, he is the most loved kid I have ever seen in my life. Everyone loves him. He has so many family members, so many cousins and aunts and uncles that just adore him to death. And not only is it just family, every stranger or every friend we have, everybody thinks he is the cutest baby. And I have seen my baby pictures, and I looked like an alien when I was a baby. Sawyer has not had one day of his life where he wasn't just the cutest kid I'd ever seen in my life. And lastly, I want to thank all the birth parents out there who have chose adoption or are thinking about choosing adoption. And I'd like to thank Lauren and Jason, because without Lauren and Jason and all the birth parents in the world, there wouldn't be Sawyer, the cutest cousin in the world, and everybody else out there has their own story and their own experience with adoption, and without the birth parents, none of it would be possible. So thank you all so much, and this is my thoughts on adoption for National Adoption Awareness Month.